Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Bob's Video Vault, first one in a couple of weeks, and I'm sorry about that. And this one isn't going to be very much either. To be honest, I haven't really found anything lately that I was looking for. As things have been coming out, haven't had a lot of extra money to spend on brand spanking new releases. So the $20 and $25 Blu-rays I haven't picked up much. So I've been kind of picking up things sporadically over the last couple of weeks, hoping that I would find something, hoping I'd really even have anything to show off, and I really don't. I only have a handful of VHS, nothing crazy. I almost didn't do a video again today. I was going to just kind of put it off and go another week, but I didn't do one last week, and I really don't want to go, a month before I get a video, so I figured at the very least I would do this kind of a short video of the handful of VHS that I found, and just to have something up, and then hopefully by next week, or maybe the week after, whatever, I'll have a little bit more going and stuff. I also may just go back and do a from the vaults kind of episode where I pick out some of the my favorite movies from my collection. That might be what we're looking at next week here. But in the meantime, let me get started with the handful of VHS that I found, and I literally mean a handful. It's only five titles. Well, I guess 6 titles, 5 VHS if you want to get specific. The first one that I got here, and this is something I actually really needed to finish off. Not finish off, but continue on, rather, my collection, and that is the Terminator VHS box set. And this is Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. To be honest, Terminator 1 is okay. I like the movie, of course, but Terminator 2 is the better of the movies by far, and it's one of my all-time favorite movies, as you should know by now, and I've got it on like every media. But I did not have this set, and actually my dad picked this one up for me and knew that I needed it, so when I was up visiting family this weekend, I actually got to grab it. So this is, like I said, both the first and the second movie, and it will go very well with the continuation of the movies that I do have. I've got 2 different versions of the movie on VHS and all the Laserdiscs, the HD DVDs. I've got so many different versions of the Terminator. Terminator 2, and not different versions, just different releases, basically. A couple of them are different versions, though. Next one that I picked up, and picked this up last week over time, is the movie Mannequin with Kim Cattrall, and was it Andrew McCarthy here, which I haven't seen in years, but we used to have this movie on a VHS tape, recorded off of HBO or whatever when I was a kid, and my brother and I, we used to watch this movie all the time, and I've never owned it, and it's kind of ridiculous, but it's way better than Mannequin 2, for sure, and it does have that ridiculous song in it here, the by Starship. What is that song called? Man, boy, I'm basing on the song, but it's not We Built This City, which is the worst song of all time, according to numerous things anyway. But regardless, if you've never seen Mannequin, it's pretty funny. It's got Estelle Getty in it, so you can't really go wrong with anything with one of the Golden Girls. So picked up that. I also picked up this movie, The Air Up There, with Kevin Bacon. It's a basketball movie, blowout sale of $4.99, which I would never spend on this movie. Maybe on DVD I would spend $5 on this movie, but probably not even then. But I love Kevin Bacon movies. This is a good kind of feel-good movie. I actually remember, I have an interesting anecdote about this story. I went to see, my brother and I went to see this movie, when it came out. We were really young. I'm trying to see what year this movie came out. But I was super young, and when this movie came out, and my brother and I, we shared a bedroom growing up, and I remember we were like jumping on the beds, like back and forth, like we were like slam dunking, the ball in, and I like went up and like went to jump from my bed to his bed, and I actually knocked the entire light fixture out of the ceiling. So I was really. This movie got me in trouble, basically, is what I'm saying there. So, but it was lots of fun, and I don't mean that based on just the slogan on here by Sneak Previews, whoever that is, doesn't really exist anymore, probably. But anyway, this movie was fun, and like I said, I love Kevin Bacon movies, and it's nice to have a feel-good Kevin Bacon movie because he does do a lot of heavier stuff a lot of the times. And next movie that I got, and this is the movie that I'm going to watch today here because I had been wanting to watch this movie for a while, and I was going to just download it, to be honest, if I didn't end up running across it, and then I was in the store and I happened to run across the movie Toy Soldiers, and I absolutely loved this movie. I actually was just talking about this movie the other day because I was going to go see this movie with my dad when it came out, but we didn't end up going, and I must have been 4, 5, 6 years old. I could not have been very old when this movie came out. It was let me see, 90. I was 8. I was 7 or 8 years old when this movie came out, and I didn't end up getting to see it then. But I've seen it years later, and it's a great teen movie. It's about kids who are at a private school, and the private school they're all rich kids, or sons of very prominent politicians, or this, that, or the other thing. So somebody comes in and takes over the school, basically holds them hostage to get ransom from all their rich rich families and stuff. So it's that kind of a movie. It's like a hostage kind of movie, and the kids trying to overcome all the stuff going on with the people holding it hostage. There's another movie that came out. To be honest, could not have been too long after 91. I'd say still early to mid-90s, with Patrick Stewart, called Masterminds, that is very much the same movie. I don't remember the kid who was in it. I'm not sure if he's anybody or not. I'd have to look that up. But it's Patrick Stewart, who's fantastic, and it's basically the same plot. I don't remember exactly if he was a rich kid, or there were rich kids in it, and that's why we're taken over. But it's a school it's taken over by Patrick Stewart. It's kind of updated a little bit more for like a digital age, because that kid is a computer whiz and stuff. And in this, Sean Astin from the Goonies is the main character in this movie, so to speak, and he's kind of the ringleader, but he's not a genius or anything. But the Masterminds is also quite good. I actually saw Masterminds before I saw Toy Soldiers, and then a couple years after that I went back and saw Toy Soldiers, and I was like, man, that's clearly Masterminds ripped this off. But they're both really good. I don't own Masterminds because I never see it anywhere. I'm about 99% sure it was only released on VHS, possibly Laserdisc or another older another media format from that time period. But it's not on DVD, and I can't even find it to download. And I've seen it on eBay, but I refuse to pay $15 or $20 for a VHS tape of a kids movie like that. It's really not worth it. I know eventually I'll run across it at some point in time. So, but at any rate, Toy Soldiers is great, and like I said, that's probably going to be my movie of the afternoon because it's been a while since I've seen that. And then the last movie that I picked up over this last week is the movie Ricochet with Denzel Washington and John Lithgow and Ice-T, but barely. It's a Denzel movie, and I love this movie. I was not allowed to see this movie theatrically. Growing up, my brother and I, both of our parents worked at a movie theater, and we spent a lot of time at a movie theater. And this movie is a heavy R-rated, picture. We used to go in, with my dad, and we'd help pick up after the movie, sweep up and whatever and stuff like that. And this movie, I don't know if it's an Ice-T song at the end. I'd have to go back and watch, but the swearing in just the end credits of this during the rap song is so bad that my dad wouldn't let us go in and help and help us let us help him clean up or anything, which was funny because you could still, sitting in the lobby, we could still hear the end credits. It was a small theater, 2-screen theater, and we just had to laugh. And I did not get to see this theatrically, which was probably smart. I was 8 or 9 years old when this movie came out, so my brother was probably 5 or 6, and I don't know if my brother has ever seen it. It is a great cop movie, kind of a cat and mouse kind of movie. John Lithgow plays a great, psycho in this. And if you haven't seen some of the earlier Denzel movies, you should check it out. I mean, he's not as smooth maybe as he is in like a movie like Training Day or like that kind of a badass, but he, is great in this. And so is John Lithgow, who I could give or take, leave or take for the most part, but. Yeah, so, I mean, it ended up being a great movie, and I haven't seen that in a long time either, and I didn't own that at all, so for 30 cents or whatever I paid for it, you can't really beat that, so. It's one of those movies that's funny to me because it's, so generically titled, like, I guess, if I didn't know what it was, and I didn't have that little, that little story behind the rap song and everything, I don't know if I'd remember the movie, by the title, if somebody's like, oh, have you ever seen Ricochet? And it seems that they didn't really do that so often back in the day, but God, every movie that's coming out is like a one-word title. And if you don't have, if it's not a one-word title that has anything to do with the plot, like for example, this coming week, there's a movie coming out called Oculus. It's a horror movie, and it's about an Oculus, about a mirror. And so maybe if you, even if you didn't like the movie and you saw it maybe years later, you could be like, oh, I remember, that was okay or whatever. But man, a movie like actually last week, my girlfriend and I went to see the movie Sabotage, the new Schwarzenegger movie, and although we really liked it, I was just sitting there thinking, God, there's nothing sabotagey really about this movie. It's so generically titled, and as much as I like some of the Liam Neeson movies, but like Unknown is so generic. And it goes back and back and back, and I'm sure throughout the history of movies there's always been generically titled movies, but it just seems like it's more and more and more lately, these one-word or two-word titles that have no bearing on the plot. They really don't have anything to do with anything, and even if they do, they're just so, like, forgettable. It doesn't really give it a lot of, like, staying power in my mind for a movie, so that, a movie comes out in a theater and even 4, 5, 6 months later it's out on DVD, and even me, who I watch tons of movies and I keep up with movies, even movies I don't see, and I'll look at something on the shelf and know that it was fairly recent, but be like, man, did I want to see that? What was that generic movie that I wanted to see? It gets like that all the time. So but yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny. And by the way, Sabotage, which nobody in the world apparently went to see because it kind of been a bomb, was good. I mean, it's a great action movie. It's unbelievably violent for an action movie. It borders some of the blood and stuff. It borders on like horror movie. I don't say this very often. They overuse the F word in the movie. Maybe overuse isn't the right way to say that, because I actually, having watched the Red Band trailer for the movie Sabotage, I knew that they were going to use it a lot, and I'm kind of OCD about things, and they said it probably 15 times in the first 2 minutes of the movie, and I started just making a mental tally as I'm watching it of how often they were saying it, and I counted like 160 something times. I looked it up on IMDb. They said it's like 180 something times, and so either way, in a 2-hour period, give or take, they used it 180 times. But I noticed it, and I swear all the time. Whatever, in my day-to-day life, I swear all the time. I try to tone it down for the videos to make it seem a little less, a little bit more professional, maybe, I don't know. But if I'm watching a movie and I'm taken out of it by the how often they're swearing, it's a little much, I think. That being said, a movie like Wolf of Wall Street, which is apparently the number 3 most uses of the F word ever, at like 500 or 600 and something, I didn't realize that at all. The movie's 3 hours long just about, and I was never taken out of the movie by what they were saying or how often the swearing was. So I guess it's one thing, maybe to use it, overuse it in a movie that's 2 hours, to say it 200 times. I guess it seems like a lot when you say that, but then Wolf of Wall Street, 3 hours long, and they say it 600 times. Obviously, they definitely overused it, but it was just, I don't know, maybe context. But regardless of all that, I guess, Sabotage is a good action movie. I will see any generic action movie, Schwarzenegger movies. I'm really looking forward to like Expendables 3, where you're getting pretty much every action star ever in there, and you can't really go wrong with that. So it's definitely in my genre, of that I like, but I think they could have backed off on it a little bit. It seems forced. And if you go back and you watch the Red Band trailer, partially it's probably Stallone's acting, but there's a scene even in the trailer, if you haven't seen the movie, where he walks into a dark house and he's like, wake up, you drunk fuck. And it's so forced sounding. Even if you watch the trailer, you'd be like, man, why did they say it that way? It's just horrible. And I know I'm making it sound like I'm ripping the movie apart, but I actually really enjoyed it. We both enjoyed it for what it was as a generic action movie. And when I'm watching a movie, and if I can watch a movie and the violence is so brutal that I'm, or over the top, that I'm like, gee, and I'm kind of taken aback by it, and it's unexpected, then it's probably, it's got some gore, because I love that stuff. But anyway, so enough about the movies that I'm not even talking about. Those are the movies I picked up for the week. sorry it was nothing special. Like I said, I'm hoping to maybe pick up some more. But as money is tight, you can't really afford to just throw it away on everything. No matter how much I would love to spend every dime I have on movies, it's probably not wise. So, but anyway, guys, that's it for the week. So hopefully you enjoyed. Maybe one of these movies you haven't seen in a while and you want to go back and check it out. As always, follow me on Facebook, like, comment, and all the normal stuff on here on YouTube. And I will see you hopefully next week for another update video.